Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. So it is finally the beginning of June. The weather is cooperating for once here in West Michigan, and so we're out in our flower field, our little flower garden, trying to get as many flowers into the ground as possible. And I want to show you exactly what we're doing. So let's go. So as you can see, this is the field where we plant our summer annuals. It's obvious, but it's pretty much a blank slate. We don't have any permanent beds for perennials. We focus on planting lots and lots of annual flowers. Now, every year in the spring, we give this piece of ground a healthy dose of manure right from the dairy farm that I work at. And then as you can see here, I'm just giving this field a good till using our rototiller. Here you'll see that we're laying plastic mulch to form our flower beds. Our beds are 3 foot wide and each bed is about 160 feet long. Within that 3-foot bed, I can fit between 3 and 6 rows of flowers, depending on plant spacing. We really can fit a lot of flowers within a small 1/4 acre plot of land that we cultivate. The plastic mulch that you see us laying here is a helpful weed barrier. While the garden looks clean and weed free now, it really doesn't take long for the weeds to overtake the flowers. And so laying plastic mulch helps to reduce the amount of time that I have to spend weeding. I can use that time to do other tasks around the farm like harvesting flowers, making bouquets, and so much more. This plastic mulch layer was actually a piece of equipment that came from my grandparents' farm, and it's really come in handy as we've been increasing the number of flowers that we grow every year. If you look closely, you can see that this plastic mulch layer is not only laying the mulch, but it's also laying beneath that mulch a line of drip tape, which I will use to irrigate our flower beds throughout the season. Here's a closer look at that drip tape that I just mentioned. Once the plastic mulch is laid, I actually connect the drip tape to a header line which will connect to a garden hose, and that garden hose will supply the water that will water the flowers. Now I only use 1 line of drip tape per 3-foot bed because the plastic mulch does a great job of retaining moisture. I've really found that I don't need as much drip tape under the plastic mulch as I do in other parts of the garden where I use landscape fabric as a soil covering. The first thing that I always plant into the garden are our dahlia tubers. I like planting them first because if we get any sort of late frost, the tubers are generally unharmed. We plant our dahlias 2 rows per bed, and each tuber is spaced about 12 inches apart. I'm also planting out any dahlia cuttings that we take over the winter. I love how in this specific dahlia cutting you can already see a tuber starting to form, and I can't wait till I dig up this clump at the end of the season to see just how many tubers that single plant will multiply into. Once our dahlias are in, it's time to focus attention on our transplants. I've shared in previous videos how we grow most of our transplants from seed using just basic wire shelves and LED lights that we purchase off of Amazon. It takes a lot of flowers to fill our space, and we will plant over 100 of these 72 cell trays. Now, plastic mulch, because it's a blank slate every year, measuring plant spacing, well, that can take a bit of time. And so to help speed up the process, I use a simple template that I create from a cardboard box. Generally, we plant using only 3 different types of plant spacing within our garden. We plant seedlings either 6, 9, or 12 inches apart. And so I have separate templates for each of those plant spacings. When it comes time to plant, I simply place my template on top of the mulch, I mark where my holes are, and voila, I have my plant spacing set in a quick amount of time. Everything we do gets planted by hand, and in case you're wondering what my favorite tools to use out in the garden are, here you go. I like to use the Hori Hori weeding and digging knife to make holes within the plastic mulch. I rely on a trusty butter knife to remove the transplants from their trays, and I really enjoy using the dibbler that I got off of Amazon to make holes for my transplants to fit into. If you're interested in giving these tools a try, I'll link them in the description box below for you. It's sometimes hard to imagine that these tiny seedlings will transform into large plants in just a matter of weeks, but somehow they do every season. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to seeing what the 2022 flower garden will look like yet this year. Here's just a small peek of what last year's garden looked like. Now I hope you guys enjoyed that behind the scenes sneak peek into how we plant our summer annual flower garden. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button below. Now I'm off because I have more flowers to harvest and of course more seedlings to go on the ground, but I cannot wait to see you in the next video.